Welcome back to Learning with Haneen. In today's video, we're going to be going over the January 2025 Algebra 1 Regents for anyone who will be taking the Algebra 1 Regents on Wednesday, June 18th. And if you have any questions, please let me know down in the comments. For those students who took the Geometry Regents and played this video, let me know how you feel like you did on the Geometry Regents that just passed. And again, if you have any questions, please let me know down in the comments. In this video, I'm going to be going over the multiple choice, and hopefully in the next video, I'll be going over the short answer. So without further ado, let's get started. So, question 1 says, one factor, the expression x cubed minus 36x is equivalent to. So, the first thing that I want to do for this question is I want to remove a GCF. So I know that the greatest common factor between x cubed and negative 36x is x. So I'm going to remove that, and then I'm going to have x cubed divided by x is just x squared, and then negative 36x divided by x is just negative 36. Now, I have x squared minus 36. I know that this is a difference of two squares. Now, I know that this is a difference of two squares. What that means is that when I factor this out, I'm going to have an x plus a certain value and an x minus a certain value. And so I know that 36 is a perfect square, and its perfect square is 6. So I'm going to factor that into x plus 6 and x minus 6. And then my final answer is going to be x times x plus 6 times x minus 6, and that is going to be answer choice number 3. Number 2 says, which equation represents the line that passes through the points negative 1, 8, and 4, negative 2? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the equation of my line. So first thing I want to do is I want to find my slope. So in order to find your slope, and if you forgot the formula, it is on your reference sheet, is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Which means that my y2 is going to be negative 2, my y1 is going to be 8, divided by 4 minus negative 1. That is going to give me negative 10 over 5, which simplifies to a slope of negative 2. And I could already eliminate answer choices 3 and 4 because the slopes here are negative 0.5. Now, I'm going to take the slope and I'm going to apply to y equals mx plus b. I'm going to pick any value of y. I'm going to pick 8. My slope, my m, is negative 2, and my x value is negative 1, and I need to find my b. So I have 8 equals 2 plus b. Subtract 2 on both sides to isolate b, and I'm going to get b equals 6. So I know that my answer is going to be answer choice number 1. Question number 3 says, a geometric sequence is shown below. What is the common ratio? So geometric sequences are synonymous or similar to exponential functions. And with these sequences, they're done through multiplication. So they have a common ratio that is a number that you multiply in order to get the next number in that sequence. So here I have 1/2, and then I go to 2, from 2 I go to 8, and from 8 I go to 32. I need to find that number that I'm multiplying by in order to produce these answers. So I'm going to pick any two consecutive numbers. So let's say I don't want to deal with the fraction, I'm going to deal with 2 and 8. So I need to find that common ratio. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do simply 8 divided by 2, and I'm going to get 4. I get 4 as my common ratio, answer choice number 4. I want to check my answer. I do the same thing with the next two consecutive. 32 divided by 8 is equal to 4, and I know that is my common ratio. Question number 4. What is the constant term of the polynomial 2x cubed minus x plus 5 plus 4x squared? So the constant term is going to be the term without the variable. So it's going to be the term without the variable. And what I want you guys to know is that you can obviously figure out that constant term just by looking at the polynomial. But I do want you guys to, whenever you're given such questions, I want you guys to reorder the polynomial. What that means when I mean reorder, to reorder it from the highest degree or exponent. I want you to reorder your polynomial from the highest degree or exponent to the lowest degree or the lowest exponent. So what that means is when I rewrite this, I'm going to rewrite it as 2x cubed plus 4x squared minus x plus 5. Okay, now I can figure out my constant term, the term without the variable, which is going to be 5, answer choice number 1. Question 5 says, a landscaping company charges a set fee for spring cleanup plus an hourly labor rate. The total cost is modeled by the function c of x equals 55x plus 80. In this function, what does 55 represent? So, I know they charge a set fee for a spring cleanup. That, if I think of my y equals mx plus b form, I know that a set fee is something that doesn't change. So that's going to be my b. So my set fee for the spring cleanup is my b. That does not change. And then it charges an hourly labor rate. So my m is going to be my hourly labor rate. Now I can look at my answer choices. I'm looking at my 55. So I know my 55 is attached to my x. And I know that my m is the hourly labor rate. And in this case, my m is 55. So I know that my 55 is the hourly labor rate, which is answer choice number 2. Question number 6 says, which expression is equivalent to 5x squared minus 2x plus 4 minus 3x squared plus 3x minus 1? So, to eliminate answer choices right off the bat, when I'm subtracting, my exponents do not change. So I can immediately eliminate answer choice 3 and answer choice number 4 because it says that for my x squared, it becomes into x to the 4th, which is only possible if I were to multiply my two expressions. So I can eliminate answer choices 3 and 4. Now, be careful of your sign. This is a minus, so I'm going to distribute that through all my terms. So I have 5x squared minus 2x plus 4 minus 3x squared minus 3x plus 1. See, minus negative 1 is plus 1. So now I combine like terms. So 5x squared minus 3x squared is 2x squared. Negative 2x minus 3x is negative 5x. And then 4 plus 1 is 5. And I know that is going to be answer choice number 2. Question number 7 says, a system of inequalities is graphed on the set of axes below. Which point is a solution to the system? So, whenever you're given a dotted line, a point that lands on it, lands on the dotted line, is not part of the solution set. So any point of these answer choices that lands on this dotted line will not be a solution to the system. The only solutions to the system will be where both inequalities intersect, where the shaded areas of the inequalities intersect, which is going to be right here. Where I drew my S, that is going to be where my solution set is. So I'm going to take these points and graph them. So 1, 1, 1, 1 is right here. Although it is on the straight line, it is on the dotted line, and I know that a point that lands on the dotted line is not part of the solution set, so that cannot be my answer. I go to 2, negative 2. 2, negative 2 is right here. Again, it is on the dotted line, so it is not part of the solution set. I go to 1, 8. 1, 8. Right here, again, not part of the solution set. It's only a solution to one of the inequalities. Now, 4, 2, again, is the only answer left, but I'm going to show you why that is the correct answer. So I go to 4, 2. It's going to be right here. And it is in the solution set. It is where both shaded regions of my inequalities intersect. Question number 8. In an arithmetic sequence, the first term is 25 and the third term is 15. What is the 10th term in this sequence? So, arithmetic sequence, it is on your reference sheet. I'm going to show it to you where it is. So, on your reference sheet, your arithmetic sequence is right here. AN equals A1 plus D times N minus 1. So, my arithmetic sequence, AN equals A1 plus D N minus 1. What do all of these mean? So AN is the term that you're looking for. So in this case, I'm looking for the 10th term. A1 is the first term of your sequence. Plus D is your common difference, or what are you adding or subtracting by to reach your next term. So like in geometric where we have the common ratio, what we're multiplying by, in an arithmetic sequence, the d, the common difference, is what you're adding by or subtracting by. In other words, this is your slope. So an arithmetic sequence is like a linear sequence, a linear equation. So I need to figure out my d. I'm given my first term. I'm not given my second term, but I'm given my third term of 15. I need to find my d. And as I said, common difference is similar to slope. So I'm going to find my slope in order to determine my d. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do 15 minus 25 over 3 minus 1. That's going to give me negative 10 over 2, which is going to give me negative 5 as my common difference. I'm going to apply that to my equation. So my a(n), which is going to be a10, is equal to a1, which I know is 25, minus 5, because that is my common difference, or you can do plus negative 5, times my n is 10, because that's the term I'm looking for, minus 1, so 10 minus 1. Now, a10 is equal to 25 minus 5 times 9. I go by PEMDAS. So I do a10 is equal to 25 minus 45, so that my a10 is equal to negative 20. Answer choice number 1. Question 9 says, when the formula P equals 2L plus 2W is solved for W, the result is. So in this question, I am writing W in terms of P and L. Okay, so how am I going to do that? So I have P equals 2L plus 2W. In other words, I'm trying to isolate W to make it by itself. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 2L on both sides. So I'm going to get 2P minus 2L is equal to 2W. Now, 2 is attached to W through multiplication. The inverse of multiplication is division, so to isolate W, I'm going to divide by 2. So then my final answer of solving for W is going to be P minus 2L over 2 is equal to W. And that is going to be answer choice number 2. Number 10 says, Market Street Pizza kept a record of pizza sales for the month of February. The results are shown in the table below. Of all the pizzas sold in February, what % were plain deep dish pizza? So, key thing to look at. It says of all the pizzas sold in February. That means I need the total of everything. Okay? So, the total of everything would mean that for thin crust, I have a total of 600 pizzas. For deep dish, I have a total of 400. So the Market Street Pizza sold 1,000 pizzas in February. And I found these totals just by adding all the types of pizzas together. You can add them across, you can add them horizontally, you can add them vertically, but you're going to end up with a total of 1,000 pizzas in February. Now, they're asking what % were plain deep dish pizza. So I'm going to look at plain. I'm going to look at plain right here. So this is plain. Okay? And then they ask specifically about deep dish pizzas. So plain deep dish pizzas is 200. Of all the pizzas sold in February is 1,000. So 200 over 1,000 is equal to 0.2, which is equal to 20%. Answer choice number 1. Number 11 says, when solving, negative 2 times 3x minus 5 is equal to 9 over 2x minus 2 for x. The solution is. So you can solve this two ways. You can solve this on your calculator by graphing, or you can solve it. So I'm going to show you both ways. So, solve algebraically. And it's good to know how to do both. So, to solve it graphically, what I'm going to do on my calculator, so I've already cleared my calculator, and on the day of the Regents, your calculator will be cleared. So, I'm going to go to y equals, I'm going to write my first part, negative 2 times 3x minus 5. Make sure you put your parentheses there. Now, for my next equation, I'm going to be graphing 9 over 2x minus 2. And I'm going to graph both equations. Graph the first one and graph the second one. And they want the solution. So the solution is going to be my point of intersection. So I'm going to do second, trace, and I'm going to hit 5, which is intersect. And I'm going to hit enter 3 times. And I'm going to get an x value of x equals 1.1428571. And I see all my answers are in fraction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do second answer, and I get my answer again is x. Now I'm going to clear my graph, and I'm going to do second answer here as well, and then I'm going to enter. There's my x value, and I'm going to go to math 1 to turn it into a fraction, and it's going to give me an answer of 8 over 7, which is going to be answer choice number 1. Now, say this was open-ended and they asked me to solve it algebraically. How do I do that? So, the first thing that you're going to do, rewrite your equation. I'm going to distribute on this side. So I'm going to get negative 2 times 3x is negative 6x. Negative 2 times negative 5 is 10. Equal to 9 over 2x minus 2. I'm trying to isolate x. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add 2 to both sides. Now I have negative 6x plus 12 equals 9 over 2x. I don't like working with fractions. So what I'm going to do is I want to get rid of the 9 over 2. I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. So then I'm going to have negative 12x plus 24 is equal to 9x. I want to isolate x, so I'm going to add 12 on both sides, 12x on both sides. And I'm going to get 24 is equal to 21x. Now, I'm going to simplify. I'm going to divide by 21. So x is equal to 24 over 21. And if I put that in my calculator, I'm going to get x equals 8 over 7. Again, answer choice number 1. Question 12 says, the expression x 2a plus b is equivalent to. So what I want you to recall is that when I am multiplying exponents, I'm going to add the exponent. So when you multiply exponents, you add the exponents. Okay? When you divide with exponents, you're going to subtract the exponents. So here I'm going to look at all my answer choices. Well, here, answer choice 1 says x2a plus xb. Well, I can't really combine my exponents because I'm using an operation of addition. So that I can eliminate answer choice number 1. Answer choice number 2, same thing. xa plus xa plus b. Same thing, I cannot combine them because this is addition. If it was multiplication, yes, but it is addition, so I'm going to eliminate that. Answer choice number 3 says xa times xa plus b. So I know when I'm multiplying, I add my exponent. So then this gives me x 2a plus b, which matches my expression, so I know that is answer choice number 3. Answer choice number 4 says xa plus b times xa plus b. Well, again, I'm going to combine, so I'm going to add these exponents, so I get x2a, but I also get plus 2b, and that is not what they're asking for, so I know it's going to be answer choice number 3. Question 13 says, the inputs and outputs of a function are shown in the table below. The function can be best described as. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to eliminate quadratic, because if you see a table of points and you don't see kind of a rainbow effect where there's the vertex and then the next 2 points are the same and the next 2 points are the same and the next 2 points are the same, that really can't be quadratic. I'm going to show you what that looks like in another question. And then also absolute value, I'm going to eliminate that as well. Now, what you can do is you can put your points into your calculator and graph them and see what function they graph. But it's going to be easier on yourself when you do this. How are each of these points related to one another? Well, I can tell you that if I look at point 4, 1 and 5, 2, I'm multiplying by 2. And then if I go from 0.5 to 1, again, I'm also multiplying by 2. I'm not adding 2, so I know it cannot be linear and therefore has to be exponential. Question 14 says, Stephanie is solving the equation x squared minus 12 equals 7x minus 8. Her first step is shown below. So for her first step, she's given x squared minus 12 equals 7x minus 8. For her first step, she adds 8 on both sides, because then she gets x squared minus 4 equals 7x. So what does she do? Does she do the associative property? No. Does she do commutative property? No. Does she do distributive property? No, there's nothing to distribute. Does she do additional property of equality? Yes. Because she's adding the 8 on both sides, she's equalizing the equation, and she changed her number into -4. Question 15 says, what is the sum of 8 square root of 3 and square root of 3? So you can put these on the calculator, get your answer, and then check each answer choice. Or this is what you can do. So you have 8 square root of 3 plus square root of 3. Now, square root of 3 has a coefficient of 1. 8 plus 1 is 9. Square root of 3 remains the same because I'm adding, and then that matches with answer choice number 4, and that is answer to question 15. Question 16 says, the dot plot below represent test scores for 20 students on a math test, and they're each labeled 1, 2, 3, 4. The mode for the math test is 80, and the median is 85. Which dot plot correctly represents the data? So, the mode is the number that appears most frequently, or most often. So if I look at all my graphs, at which point is 80 most frequent? Well, at 1 and at 3, so I can eliminate answer choices 2 and 4. Now I need to find my median, and I'm not going to put all the points in the calculator. So what I know is that my median is the point of the half of my data set. Half of my data. So points 1 through 10 as one part of the set, and 11 to 20. And my median is going to be the 2, because it's an even data set. It's not an odd data set. It's not the number that falls directly in the middle. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to take the value of the 10th point plus the 11th point divided by 2 to get my median. So if I look at answer choice 1 and 2, so let's look at 1. So this is point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So 10 and 11 end up at point 85. So if I do 85 plus 85 divided by 2, I'm going to get 85. So I know that that is going to be my answer. Graph number 3, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 10 and 11 are 80. So 80 plus 80 divided by 2 is going to give me 80. That is not my median, so I know it's going to be answer choice number 1, graph 1. Number 17 says, the function is graphed on the set of axes below. The domain of this function is, so domain asks about the values of x. Okay? So I'm going to look at my values of x. So my value of x at the beginning, at this point right here, is at -2. So I can already eliminate answer choices 3 and 4. Now, when my graph starts, it's an open circle. An open circle means that that value of x, or that value in general, is not included in the set of points. In other words, it is not equal to. So if the values of x are not equal to -2, then I know it cannot be answer choice number 2, and therefore for question 17, the answer is answer choice number 1. Now, question 18 says, which ordered pair is a solution to the equation y minus 1 equals 2 times x plus 1/4? Graph on your calculator. But first things first, I can't just put this in my calculator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite it. So I'm going to add 1 on both sides. I'm going to rewrite it as y equals 2 times x plus 1/4 plus 1. And I'm going to go to my calculator. I'm going to go to my y equals. Go to my y equals. I'm going to clear what I have in there. And then I'm going to write 2 times, I'm going to write 2 parentheses x plus parentheses 1/4 plus 1. And then I'm going to graph. And I get my line. If I look at my table of values, I don't see the following numbers, like 0.75, 1.25, 2.5, but I do see 4. And I see 4 is 9.5 for my wall value. So I can already eliminate answer choice number 4. I know that is not going to be my answer. I want to see my other points. This is what you're going to do. You're going to go to second window. You're going to go down to the triangle table. This is how your table is counting by. So if I look at my values, I can see that my table is counting by 0.25. So I'm going to change that to 0.25. Then I'm going to look at my table of values once again. Now I can see my point. So if I look at 0.75 for my x, my y is 3. So that can't be my answer. If I look at 1.25, my y is 4. That is my answer. If I go and scroll down to 2.5, my answer is 6.5. It's not negative. So I can eliminate answer choice 3. So I can eliminate answer choice 1, answer choice 3. So I'm left with answer choice number 2 according to my graph. Question 19 says, Elena's fastest time for the 50-meter dash in 7 seconds. She wants to know how fast this is in inches per minute. Which expression can Elena use for correct conversion? First thing I want you to do is to look at your answer choices. So we cannot cancel out the same units if they're on the same position. So if, for example, in answer choice 1, my seconds are also, they're all in the same position. My seconds is on top, my seconds is on top. That can't work. I'm going to eliminate that answer choice. Here, my meters is on the bottom, my meters on the bottom, that's not going to cancel out. Here, my meters is on the top, my meters is on the top, that will not work. And then I'm left with answer choice number 4. 50 meters, 1 meter, 7 seconds, 60 seconds, 1 minute to an inch. And that is exactly what they wanted to figure out. They wanted me to determine how many minutes, how many inches per minute. Minutes, inches. Inches per minute. Answer choice number 4. Question 20 says, the table shows the highest temperatures recorded in August for several years in one town. The interquartile range of this data is. So if you forget, interquartile range formula is on your reference sheet. Right here, interquartile range is equal to Q3 minus Q1. How am I going to find out Q3 and Q1? On your calculator. So in my calculator, I'm going to go to Stats, Edit, and I'm going to put in all my temperatures in list 1. So I'm going to put 86, I'm going to put 78, I'm going to add 84, 95, 81, 77, 88, and 93. And it tells me here that I have 8 points, and on the temperatures I have as well as 8 points. Then I'm going to click Stat, Calc, 1 var statistic. This is always what you're going to do when you do your statistics questions on this region. You're going to hit enter, enter one more time, and then you're going to get, so X bar is your mean. SX and sigma X is your standard deviations. One is population, one is sample. N is your number of temperatures, or the number of values, which was 8. Your minimum is 77, your lowest point. Your Q1 is 79.5. Your median, or the point in the middle, is 85. Your Q3 is 90.5. Your maximum is 95. So what do I need to find interquartile range? I need Q3, which is the median of my third half of my data set, and my Q1, which is the first half of my data set. So my Q3 is 90.5, and my Q1 is 79.5. And when I subtract, I'm gonna get 11, answer choice number 3. Question 21 says, the function f of x equals x squared is multiplied by k, where k is less than -1. Which graph could represent g of x equals k times f of x? So, again, calculator, pick any value for k. Let's say I'm going to give my k -2. Pay attention to your inequality though. It says k is less than -1. So pick values that are less than -1. You're going to go into your calculator. You're going to go to y equals. Okay? You're going to clear anything if you do have anything. First, I'm going to graph x squared. This is my parent graph. Now, I'm going to add my changes. So my change is going to be -2 times my parent graph, x squared. And then I'm going to graph. So the first graph is my parent graph, and the second graph is the changes that I've made. So the first change I do notice is that instead of it opening upwards, it opens downwards. So I can eliminate answer choices 1 and 3. Now, is it the same width? No. My second graph, my daughter graph, is narrower than my parent graph. So that is going to leave me with answer choice number 4 for question 21. Now, question 22 says, which graph is the solution to the inequality 6.4 minus 4x is greater than or equal to -2.8? So, first things first, I want to eliminate some answer choices. I see that my inequality is greater than or equal to. I can eliminate answer choice 1 and 3 because they're open circles. If I have an equal to, my circle must be shaded in. Now, don't rush. Just because you see greater than, don't just pick answer choice number 2. Hold on. So, if I were to solve, I have 6.4 minus 4x is greater than or equal to -2.8. I subtract 6.4 on both sides. I get -4x is greater than or equal to -9.2. Then I'm going to divide by -4. When you have an inequality, so in an inequality, right? If you divide by a negative, you must flip your sign. In other words, what this means, when I divide by -4, my x now is going to be less than or equal to 2.3. Okay? Because I divided by a negative, I must flip my sign or change it. So my sign was stated originally that x would be greater than or equal to my answer. But now, because I divided by a negative, my x is less than or equal to 2.3, which is answer choice number 4 because my arrow is going to the left. Question number 23 says, the number of fish in a pond is 8 more than the number of frogs. The total number of fish and frogs in the pond is at least 20. If x represents the number of frogs, which inequality can be used to represent this situation? So first things first, it tells me that the total number of fish and frogs in a pond is at least 20. That means it can be 20 or greater than. That means I can eliminate answer choices 3 and 4 because they tell me that the total number is less than or equal to 20. Eliminate those. Now, go back. So it says the number of fish, and they tell me that x is frogs. So x equals frogs. Right? They tell me that the number of fish, so my fish is equal to 8 more than my number of frogs. Right? So theoretically, let's say that I have 10 frogs. Okay? Frogs, right? So I have 10 frogs. So my x is my frogs. And I have my fish is 8 more than my number of frogs. That means that I have 18 fish for a total of 28 in total. So if I look at answer choice number 1, so choice number 1 says that I'm going to have my x. So let's say I have the 10 frogs plus 8 times 10 for the number of fish. Well, I know that the number of fish is 8 more than, so that means I'm adding 8. So it cannot be answer choice number 2. Answer choice number 1. So if I look at answer choice number 2, it says 2x plus 8. Well, I have my number of frogs, 8. And then I have 2 times the number of frogs for my fish. Well, if I'm given 10 frogs and I do 2 times 10, I'm getting 20. And 20 plus 8 is 28, which is the total number of animals that I would have if I followed through with my 10. So I know it's going to be answer choice number 2. So for this one, you needed to first understand what it meant to be at least, and then apply what you know in terms of the fish being 8 more than the number of frogs, picking a number for x, and testing the remaining 2 answer choices. Question number 24, last question on the multiple choice. Which graph below represents a function that is always decreasing over the entire interval? -3 is less than x, but x is less than 3. Examine every single graph. So, graph number 1 at -3 is right here, and 3 is right here. So, through this entire interval, the function is increasing. So that's a no. Answer choice number 3. -3, 3. My function again is increasing, does not decrease. Eliminate that too. Answer choice number 3. Answer choice number 2. Sorry. -3 to 3. It increases, and then it decreases. But recall the question said always decreasing, so it cannot be answer choice number 2. I'm left with 4, so 4 is my answer. But why? So here is at -3, and here is at 3. From -3 all the way down to 3, my function is always decreasing. So that is going to be my answer choice number 4. So that is the 24 questions on the multiple choice. I'm going to end this video. Stay tuned for part 2, 3, and 4, which is going to be the open-ended. If you have any questions on the multiple choice, any topics that I discussed, please leave your questions down in the comments below, and I will be sure to promptly respond to them. Good luck on your exam. Again, it is June 18th. It is an afternoon exam, so please be on time for your exam. Have your calculator, have your pen for your open-ended, have your pencil for your graphs and for your multiple choice, and good luck.